Right, sir? Am I audible over the web? Right. Okay, sir. So yesterday we have tried to understand. ఎవరండి అంతలా ఎవరు మాట్లాడేసుకుంటారండి? Okay, shall I start? Yeah, right. Okay, okay, fine, sir. So yesterday we have tried to understand what infra provisioning is. So the infra provisioning is basically an approach to create infrastructure where we would follow a declarative approach. So what is a declarative approach? We would basically tell what is that we want rather than trying to tell how to create it. So this is basically the standpoint when it comes to any infra provisioning tool, right? The reason why we would prefer Terraform as an infra provisioning tool is, okay, I've started recording, sir. Terraform, okay, is an open source tool developed by an organization which is called as HashiCorp, which can create infra in almost any virtual platform. This is what Terraform is. Okay. So whether you are using AWS, Azure, GCP, DigitalOcean, you name the environment from Terraform, you can create it. Okay. So otherwise, you have to go with cloud specific tools, and that would be a big learning curve. So for example, if my organization is doing a project in Google, learn Google's tool. If they are doing in AWS, learn AWS Cloud Formation. Azure, learn ARM templates. So rather than that, if you learn Terraform, you can create anything and anywhere. That is the reason why it is most popular one. Okay, right. And then Terraform has a language, okay, which is called as HashiCorp configuration language, or you would see something as, let's see, okay, or Terraform uses to express desired state. Okay, and basically whenever you want to create an infra in Terraform, you would use this HCL to 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 create infra or to express what you need. Okay, right. So now when we want to create anything in Terraform, okay, we need to understand couple of things. Okay, so why do we use cloud, sir? Or what is that we want to do on the cloud? We want to create an infrastructure, right? So to create an infrastructure, there are many building blocks. You need a network, you need something, right? So whatever you need, okay, so generally there are two things which you need to understand. One is resource. So this is the infrastructure which you want to create. Are you clear on this, sir? So whenever you basically try to work with Terraform, there are certain terms which you need to understand. The first term is, so if I want to create a network, so I'm speaking about a resource called as network. Okay, right. And then the next thing is basically provider. This refers to where you want to create infrastructure. You want to create a network in AWS. So resources network and provider is AWS. Okay. So, and then basically your Terraform will go ahead and then do that work for you. Okay. Right. So the inputs which we express in Terraform are called as arguments. So in Terraform, what is an argument? The inputs which you give. So if you remember me yesterday showing S3 bucket, you have passed name as an input, some name you have given. So that is basically an argument. Okay. So, and then the output, okay, given by Terraform is referred as attribute. Just remember these terms, because generally whenever you look into Terraform's documentations, you would come across this kind of terms multiple times. Okay. So resource is what you want to create. Provider is where do you want to create. For creating resources, you have to tell your intentions. For that, we need certain values to be passed. The values which you are passing is argument. And once you create that argument, Terraform will give you some outputs, and those outputs are basically called as attributes. Are we clear on this, sir? Yeah, right. And then there are other things also. There is something like data source. There is something like module state. Let us not get into all of that. Let us try to stick to very simple stuff today. Okay, right. And then this Terraform is basically developed in a language, okay, which is called as Golang, or this is Google's language. The advantage of this language is, okay, you will get this runs everywhere first of all, and then all you need to do to install Terraform is just one exe. To install Terraform, you will have only one executable. Okay, right. So now let me try to do this. Installing Terraform. Okay, first thing, Windows. Okay, let me do one thing before I do the installation, sir. Let me uninstall what I have on my machine. Okay. Let us see what is the latest version and then download it from there. Yeah. Okay. Alright. Yeah. So if you see right now in my machine, it is this application is not installed because it is giving me an error message saying that I couldn't find anything called as Terraform. Good. So Terraform. Okay. So to download Terraform, depending on what operating system which you are using, okay, refer here for official documentation. So if you are basically working on Mac, for the people who have attended grooming sessions, I have said that you can install Brew. And once you install Brew, all you need to do is just execute these two simple commands, right? If it is Windows, okay, he's trying to tell that you can directly install. This is 64-bit version and this is a 32-bit version. If you are installing it on a Linux machine, there are commands to do this job. Okay. So what is the latest version of Terraform which is trying to install now? 1. Yeah. So now let me basically go with Choco Terraform. So what is the version which we have? 1.3.9. So we don't have 1.4.0. Okay. It doesn't matter. There are not much of differences. But if you want, you can download it from here. Okay, or you can basically download Choco install Terraform. Okay, let me basically download it from here. Okay, so 64-bit version. What is that I got? I got a zip file. Now let me open this and let me see what is there in the zip file. I'm extracting this zip file, and all you see is a very simple executable which is called as terraform.exe. That's it. So all you need to do is you need to basically ensure that this terraform.exe is placed in a folder which is accessible by path. Okay, so do we know what path is? Yes, right? So path is a folder in which or a list of folders in which your system will start searching for Terraform. Okay, so now you can do this, or if you don't want to get into all of this, Choco install Terraform. I'm okay with any of these approaches. Now Terraform Chocolatey has done the work for me. I close my terminal and then I launch my terminal and then let me execute terraform hyphen hyphen. Is it very difficult? So it is trying to tell that your version is up to date. To get the latest version, you are supposed to use 1.4.0. For whatever work which you are doing today, it is not really a barrier. Okay, we are doing a very simple work. So even if it is older version, we are not going to miss out a lot of things. Okay, right. So yeah, I'm not writing the installation steps because they're already mentioned over here. One thing which I have to do is on a Windows machine, I have to install 1.4.0, but it's okay. Is it like brew? Sir, for the people who have not attended grooming sessions, I'm not sure, sir, because we have spoken about all of this, what chocolate is and what it does and all that stuff. Okay, so please, Pawan, kindly go through that. Don't make me repeat the same things which I've already covered. Yeah, right. Not an issue, Pawan. Yeah. Okay. So do we have Terraform installed on my system? Yeah. So this is the environment where you and me will be working. Okay. But in reality, we execute Terraform from our CI/CD tool. That is either from Jenkins or either from Azure DevOps. So there we will be using mostly Terraform on the Linux machine. We will be using Terraform from the Linux machine. Okay, right. So now the other thing, developer environment. To develop Terraform, what is that, or to work on Terraform, what is that I need? Install Visual Studio Code. Okay, so let me go to some folder. Hmm, March 23, and then let me create a new folder which is called as Hello Terraform. Yeah, right click over here and then try to tell open with code. Yeah, so in this, if you click on this extensions, are you seeing there is a Terraform extension over here? So for me, I have already installed, but for you, you would not have installed and you would be seeing an option like this to click on install. So kindly install this. So what it would happen, it would help you in writing Terraform. Without this also you can work, but if you install this extension, it would help you to do the things faster. It is a productivity tool, nothing more than that. Okay, right. So ensure Terraform extension is installed. So there is one video link which I'll be sharing to you now, where you will have uh, a video on how to install all the softwares on Windows systems. Okay, so refer here for installing necessary softwares on your Windows system. Okay, sir. You don't need to do anything special for MacBook, sir. You need to install Brew and Brew install Terraform. That in the documentation link which I've shared over here, it is already given what you have to do for Mac. Okay, right. So if you select Mac OS, you have to execute these two commands. Okay, right. Fine, sir. Now we have developer environment also. Okay. Now what is that we need to do? Okay. So Terraform, you need to create an empty folder. Okay. So let us get started. Where is the notes? Yeah. Let's try to create a basic Terraform template. Okay. I want to create a basic Terraform template. So for that, what is that I do? Create a new folder. I have created a folder with the name hello TF. Okay. Open Visual Studio Code. I have done that. Okay. And in this, create a new file. You can give any name. Okay. But the extension has to be TF with extension dot. So main is just a good practice. You can give any name. You can give your name.tf. Okay. Right. So let me go ahead and then create a file which is called as main.tf. Are we clear on this so far? Any difficulty so far? No. Right. Now, what we need to do is Terraform, we need to tell where do I want to create infrastructure. Where is that I want to create infrastructure? So what I'll do is, where is that I want to create infrastructure is always a provider, right? Yeah. So let me go with Terraform providers. Servicing AWS, Azure, GCP. There are many providers which are available. So all you need to do is figure out what is that you want to look out for. So if you try to look at this, these are official providers. Okay. Yeah. So if you go with community, we'll find too many providers. Okay. Fine. Okay. Choose any provider. Okay. So for the first example, I'll be doing two examples also, AWS and Azure. Okay. So today you need not configure anything. I will show you what has to be done. Okay. And don't try. Are you doing whatever I'm trying to do? Please don't do that. Then it will be of no use. Okay. Let us just try to understand the terms today. Okay. Right. So now let us assume I want to use the AWS provider. So what is that I'll be doing is I'll be selecting AWS. It says that this is your AWS provider. Refer here for AWS provider. And now if you get into this AWS provider, what he tries to tell us, do you want to use this provider? To use this provider, what is that you are supposed to do? Are you seeing certain things written over here? Yeah. So let me try to copy this and paste it over. I have not done anything magical. Just copied and pasted the stuff. Okay. Right. So now indirectly what I am trying to tell to Terraform is I am going to use AWS. I'm going to use AWS. But there's one thing which you need to understand. Whatever I do over here might work for me, but if you try the same thing on your machine, it might not work. That is because there are still certain things which you need to understand. So just figure out on how Terraform works, how to make it work on your laptop. We will do that later. So what is that I've done? I have configured some provider. Now in AWS, what I want to do is, yesterday remember there was something called as S3 bucket. Yes. So now I want to create S3 bucket. I want to create an S3 bucket. So anything which you want to create, what is it called as, sir? Terms. You just tell me what is a term that speaks about something which refers to what you want to create. What is that? Resource. So do you agree that it is a resource? Yes. Okay. So now over here, I'll search for S3. So are you seeing resource? And in resource AWS S3 bucket. So are you seeing something over here? Yeah. Now he gives you an sorry. He gives you an example usage saying that this is what you need to do. So let me blindly copy paste this. Okay. Don't worry about what I'm trying to do. I'll try to explain all of that. I'm just showing you what happens. Okay. Now my TF test bucket, or let me replace this with Qt. So my bucket name is this. Now what I'll do is I'll get into this folder where I have created all of this stuff. CD. Okay. From now on, what I'm supposed to use is I'm supposed to use commands. I'm supposed to use commands. So I don't know the commands. What should I do? Always read manual. Terraform hyphen hyphen help. Okay, right. So what do you think I should be doing to create resources, sir? The main commands. Out of this 5, what is that I should be doing to create infrastructure, sir? You read over there. You just see the screen and tell me. Don't look at my face. My face doesn't have any answers. So do you agree that it is something called as apply? Because on the apply, it is written saying that create and update infrastructure. That is what we want to do, right? So now I'll try to tell Terraform apply, but I don't know how to use apply command. So what is that I'll do? Hyphen hyphen. Don't try to remember any command. Just go with hyphen hyphen help. So it tries to tell that you need to do Terraform apply, and then you need to give some options, and you need to give something called as plan. So let me try to do Terraform. That there is nothing that seems to be important there. Terraform apply. So what it says? It says that to make your initial dependency selections, you need to run something called as, so first initialize the stuff. So now let me go ahead and then try to tell that Terraform init. Okay. Now it is doing something. Okay. So let us figure out what it is doing. Are you seeing there is a folder that got created which is called as .terraform? Yes. So in this .terraform, what happened is, what is the concept in Terraform where we try to tell where do you want to create resources? What is that? Where you want to create resources? How do we configure that? Provider. Okay. So Terraform, we have written this provider, right? We have copy pasted this. Okay. So when we copy paste this, what Terraform does is it downloads all the necessary things so that it can speak with AWS. So to speak with AWS, Terraform requires this on a Windows machine. Okay. So what does .terraform folder contain, sir? It contains anything and everything that is required to speak with your provider. In this case, my provider is AWS. In my next example, my provider will be Azure. So there you will be seeing something with respect to Azure getting downloaded over. Now I'll basically go over here and then I'll try to tell Terraform apply now. Because when we did apply first time, we got some error. So it is trying to tell that, okay, this is what you have asked me to do. Okay, let us not worry about it. It looks okay. Let me click on yes. It says I have done the work. Okay, let us see whether it has really done the work or not. So let me log in into my AWS account. Yeah. I'm just showing you the workflow, sir. Okay. Actually, we need to dive deeper into each of every step which we have covered so far. So let me go to S3. So what was the bucket name which you were trying to create? Let us just Qt test. Okay. Qt TF test bucket. Are you seeing that? Yes. Whatever work which you have done, did it worked out? Yes. Now let me try to do the apply again. Apply will create or update the infrastructure. That is what was written over there, right? So now let us see what Terraform tries to tell. It says whatever you have asked me is already there. There are no changes. So I'm not doing anything. Okay. So what if I go over here and select this and then try to tell delete? I'm manually deleting it. Okay. So if you see it is deleted from my, now I go over here and then try to do apply. You said you wanted S3 bucket, but actually it was deleted in your account. So you click on, you enter yes, it will try to create it again. So is Terraform giving me the same result every time when I execute? If you remember, this is something which we call as idempotency yesterday. So whether you run the script for one time or n number of times, it will always give you the same result of your express desired state. Here my express desired state was to create a bucket. So it was ensuring that the bucket is present. If it is not present, it creates it. If it is present, it doesn't do anything. Are we clear on this, sir? Yes? Okay, right. So what is that we have done? Okay, don't worry about this command, sir. This is just to give you a reference of what I have done. Okay, you need not execute all of these commands, but in the notes I have to show what is that I have done, right? So for that reason, I'm basically doing it. So if you remember, this is what I've done. Okay, so refer here for the hinges. Okay, what is that first thing which we have done? We have executed tf or okay. Let me try to see this. Now let oh man, this will. I'm not sure whether the buffer will contain all of that. Okay, yeah, good. So you have done. Yeah, I'm just minimizing it so that one image will contain everything. So first thing which I've done is Terraform apply. Then it said that no, I can't do the stuff because you have to do init first. Then we have done the init. Okay, right. Now after that I have executed Terraform apply. Right. right. So once my apply was successful, it has basically said that okay, something which is creation is complete. Actually, to be very honest, we have not written any template. We have done 2 or 3 copy paste today. Yeah, right. Fine, sir. Now, if I go and refresh this, okay. So if you look into this, the bucket which you wanted to create is created over here. So is Terraform creating resources, sir? Yeah. And is it ensuring that whatever we have asked for, is it maintaining? Yeah, right. So 3 terms, did we understood? Provider, resource, okay, and basically your desired state. Desired state is what you have asked for. Okay. So now, shall we do the same thing? Okay, we have not mentioned anything in our account details. I said that don't worry about why it is working on my system. It is working on my system because I have some configuration. Today, just focus on what Terraform is doing. How to make it work on your system. I said that that is something which we refer as a next topic, right? Okay, right, sir. Now, let's do the same with Azure. Okay, it doesn't matter. Terraform, for Terraform, all it is where you want to create is a provider. So I'll go over here and then I'll try to create a new folder, hello TF for Azure. Yeah, right. And then let me open Visual Studio Code over here. So as usual, I'm creating a file which is main.tf. Okay. Now what is that I need to do? I need to know the provider. So let me go browse providers. In the last example, I've taken AWS. Now I'm going to take Azure. Use provider, whatever is written over here. Let me try to copy that. Okay. Fine, sir. And then I wanted to go to documentation. So in this documentation, generally we'll try to see the guides on how to basically do the stuff. We need to add this extra one step in Azure. Okay, let us not worry about why, but for now, just do this. Okay, now in Azure, equivalent of S3 bucket or the resource equivalent to S3 bucket is storage account. In AWS, I've created S3 bucket. Here I want to create storage account. So let me try to do storage account. Okay, right. So storage are using Azure RM storage account. Select this. Let me blindly copy the exam. I'm not worried about how to configure. I'm just showing you the way Terraform works. Okay. Now here is asking me storage account name Qt. Let us use the same name whatever we have used there. Qt TF test rather than bucket. Let me call it as. Okay. So now here cd cd hello TF for Azure. So what is the first command which you need to execute? Ideally, we should be doing apply, but apply tries to tell that you need to do init first. Init is a one-time job, so I am doing init. What init will do? It will download the providers into your system so that Terraform can speak with Azure in this case. Yeah, right. Now, if you basically get into this folder, are you seeing .terraform providers registry HashiCorp Azure RM, and then here it has Azure. In the previous case, that was that had something with respect to AWS. Okay, right. Now the next command is Terraform apply. Okay, it says what is that? Okay, name is messed up. That's fine. I cannot give this name. That is what it is trying to tell. Okay. Obviously, to download it needs to connect to HashiCorp assets, something which we call as registry. So I think there is something called as yes or no. Let me enter. Yes. Let us not go there. Let us just understand what Terraform is doing. We'll take step by step, sir. Yeah. Let us have a very procedural approach in learning, so that if I jump and take two leaps ahead, it will be difficult for you because you'll be missing on certain points over here. Okay, right. So do you agree that now I can make Terraform work on GCP also? Because all I was doing was I was trying to search for providers and resources. So if I find a provider for GCP and resource for GCP, I can make this work for GCP also. Even for Oracle Cloud, you name the cloud, all I need is a provider and resource. So I don't need to basically get into my AWS accounts, Azure accounts, and do the stuff manually. I just write this. Is it making sense now? Whatever we have spoken yesterday, right? Saying that from Terraform you can create infrastructure, let it be in any virtual environment, because we have this problem statement. Okay, right. Now it says it has done its job. Now let me log in into Azure. Okay. So what is that we have tried to create? Storage account, right? Yeah. So QTTF test account. Is this what we wanted to create? Is it working? Yes. Okay. Added Azure. Right. So refer here for the changes, and this was the infra that got created. Yeah. Okay. Now if I don't want this, whatever I've created, I'm done with this. All you need to do is Terraform hyphen hyphen help. I want to delete whatever I've created, sir. What do you think I should be doing? Look at main commands and tell me what is the sub command which I should be using. Destroy. Yeah. Terraform destroy. So the workflow is very simple. Init, make changes, apply. Once you are done with your work, destroy. Yeah, that is the basic workflow. And then we need to figure out in your system, if you try to do the same thing, it might not work. Because for me, there is some configuration. That's the reason I'm connected to AWS account or Azure account from Terraform. How to do that? We will do all of that. But is the workflow clear? you express your intentions in some .tf files. And once you express your intentions as a desired state, you basically do init. Providers get downloaded. You apply. And once you're done with your work, you basically say destroy. Destroy will delete everything, whatever it has created. So creating, deleting, updating the changes, everything is much easier with Terraform. And then if you try to look at it, I've not opened any AWS UI, Azure UI, and all of that stuff. I'm basically running everything from command line. So automation of this becomes extremely simple. Okay, right. Fine, so let it take its time. Yeah, so yes. Now Terraform will delete whatever it has created. Okay, so which folders from the desktop? That is not Terraform's job. Terraform is responsible for infrastructure, sir, not for folders. Yeah, right. Okay. Now, what is the workflow, sir? Terraform workflow as of now is init, apply, and destroy. So, whenever you want to create a new infrastructure, we will be creating some folders and then we will be doing init. So, once you are done with this, you will be doing apply, which creates infrastructure. Whenever you make changes, you would be using this apply multiple times. Once you are done with your work, you would be doing destroy. Okay, so init will, what will init do? Download provider. Here creates or updates infra, destroys the infra. So are we clear on this simple workflow? Yeah, right, good. Okay, but doing copy paste will not work out for us, right? Yeah, just like how I have done go there, copy paste, that doesn't work out. So we need to learn how to do this organically. So that is what we would be doing. Terraform basic workflow, right? So let me delete whatever I've done in AWS also. CD hello tf Terraform destroy. Let me go to Azure and refresh. So I think whatever storage account got created got deleted. Same thing will happen to your S3 bucket also. Okay, good, sir. Sir, please focus on what we have tried to tell, sir. Today we are not finishing Terraform, sir. We are starting Terraform. Okay. అన్ని ఆప్షన్లు ఇవాళే కావాలంటే అంత చదువు ఇవాళే చదువుతారని చెప్పండి, చెప్పేస్తాను. राइट, अगर आपको सभी ऑप्शंस आज ही चाहिए तो टेराफॉर्म आज ही खत्म कर देते हैं. राइट, तो धीरे धीरे सीखते हैं ना. या రైట్, ఈ ఆత్రం మీకు 120 రోజులు ఉండాలని దేవుడిని మనస్ఫూర్తిగా ప్రార్థిస్తున్నానండి. రైట్, सो यही एक्साइटमेंट आपको पूरे 120 दिन रहना बोल के मैं दुआ करूंगा. आज देखते हैं कितने दिन रहेगा. ओके, राइट सर. So now what is that we are trying to do now? We are creating some Terraform files. We are basically doing providers. Now the interesting part which I can do is I have created two different folders, right? Yeah. So one for AWS and one for Azure. Okay. So I can create one folder, one Terraform file, and in that I can copy AWS provider as well as Azure provider also. And then if I do apply, it will create a bucket in S3 and storage account in Azure from the same Terraform file. So you can do multi-cloud scenarios also from whatever work which you have done. So for example, what is that we have done, sir? So this main.tf had this. If I copy all of this and paste it into this, okay. So there is AWS information also and Azure information also. When I do apply, it will create both in AWS as well as in Azure. So Terraform doesn't really, it doesn't matter whether you are working on the same cloud or a different cloud, it doesn't matter. So it can create multi-cloud scenarios or uh, different cloud scenarios also over here. Okay, right. So now, what is the moral of today's story? You need to remember commands, right? Yeah, you need to know programming to really do this. No, right? The first thing which you need to know is what is that you want to create. What is that you want to create? So what we will do is we will try to understand something called as three-tier architecture. We will try to understand something called as three-tier architecture. And then in that three-tier architecture, let us try to realize the three-tier architecture in AWS as well as in Azure. Okay. So that is something which we will be doing. And in this process, let us try to learn Terraform. Let us try to learn Terraform. So what is the resource, sir? What do you want to create? Provider, where you want to create. Okay. Argument, the inputs which you give. Attributes, output which you get. Okay. And Terraform is basically written generally in a new folder in a file with .tf extension. Okay. And then the workflow is init will download the providers and then apply will try to create or manage and destroy will delete everything. So till this point, whatever I've discussed, do we have any doubts? No. Okay. All right. Okay, sir. What happens when you don't destroy? Your infrastructure will be running. That means that you will, if it is a paid resource, you will have bills. Yeah. Right. Okay. Good. Right. Now, let us just try to look at the syntax of something which you have copy pasted. Okay. I just want you to tell me the pattern. There is nothing which I'm really asking you more, but so this is resource, right? Yeah. And this is provider. Okay. And now let me go to the AWS's example. Provider is AWS. And let me go into resource. Okay, right. Are there any patterns which you are trying to look out over here, sir? Okay. Now, whenever you are trying to write resource, this is called as resource type. This is resource name. Okay, right. Now, so generally, your resource will have provider underscore name. Resource type will have provider underscore name. So, what is the provider here? Sorry, saying everything is prefixed with AWS underscore. Here, what is the provider? So, what is it prefixed with? Now you go to anything. If it is GCP, you will have GCP underscore something. And this is something which we call as resource type. This defines what is that you want to create. What is that you want to create. So let us assume that tomorrow I want to create a database. So I might have something which looks like resource Azure RM underscore SQL underscore sorry underscore SQL something. What that something is, we can Google it out. For that, you will be giving some name, my DB. Okay. So we will try to understand what we have written. That is what our intention is. Okay, so whatever we have discussed today, are we clear? So do you agree to the point of yesterday's notes? Okay, so let me go to the yesterday's notes, directdevops.blog. Okay, so this is what we have discussed yesterday, right? So we have discussed about a fictitious organization who wants to create this in multi-cloud. Now, do you think is it possible with Terraform? Yes. So I can try to achieve the same thing in different clouds. Let it be AWS, Azure, GCP, whatever it is. Okay. And for this, I will try to describe the state by writing TF files. Whenever I want, I'll create it. If I don't want, I'll destroy it. If I want to update or create, my command is going to be apply. And then the only thing which we always have to look at is don't try to remember commands, always try to use hyphen hyphen help while you're learning. People try to memorize this, and memorization doesn't work out, because after this we'll be starting Docker will have hell lot of commands, and then we'll start Kubernetes that will have other set of commands. If you start remembering, you will only remember whatever is the latest tool which you're working on, not all of them. So try to use hyphen hyphen help, right? Don't try to remember commands. Okay, and then we just know about what init is, what apply is, and what destroys. The rest of the things we will learn. We will learn. Okay, right, sir? Good, fine. Can we create the same thing in OCI? Yeah, you can create anything, sir, because story is same, right? Okay, OCI, by the way, is Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. Okay, so what is that you need to do? You need to go over here, Terraform provider, browse providers. If your company is using Oracle Cloud or using OCI, select this. Okay, use provider or using this, copy paste this. Now get into documentation, figure out what you want to create, search for that, and then for today we are copy pasting. We don't have much of understanding. We are doing copy paste. So if you have Oracle Cloud, and then if somehow you have authentication details, it will work. It doesn't matter which cloud it is. Okay, right, sir. Good. Sounds interesting? Yeah. Yeah, even if it is not, you don't have much of choice, right? Because this is you go into any DevOps or cloud job search, they're asking for infra provisioning tools, right? Okay, sir. Okay, right. So let me stop it at that. The version mentioned in AWS provider key value pair, that will be, yeah, that will be changing, sir. Pawan, don't worry about the specifics. We'll be learning about that. Okay. So how to change, how to deal with latest versions. Okay. How to ensure that we need only a specific version. We'll be getting into all of that. Okay, sir. Good. Let me stop it at that. And we'll meet again tomorrow, where we'll be getting into specifics of how that stuff was working on my machine without much of configuration. Okay. But before that, tomorrow we'll try to understand basically a 3-tier architecture. Okay, and from there let us try to achieve the things one after the other, and in that process let us also learn Terraform. Okay, the end goal for you is, okay, once you finish this course or once you finish this topic, all of you should know how to create, okay, virtual machine based infrastructure from Terraform, and containerized based workloads from Terraform. That is, creating Kubernetes clusters from Terraform and creating virtual machines from Terraform. These are the two things which are essential. Okay, and we will be doing that. Okay, I know that for some of you don't know Kubernetes. We are not doing anything in Kubernetes. We are creating Kubernetes. So we will look into resources and then we will try to create. It is not necessary that you have to know everything which you have to create. We will try to understand infra elements, because here I am dealing with infra, not functionality. Okay, So what are the things that are required for me to create that infrastructure? I should be able to create. Right, sir? Good. So let me stop it at that and we'll meet again tomorrow. Yes. Life is too short. పొద్దున్నే వేదాంతం ఎందుకు గుర్తొచ్చింది సార్ మీకు? Yeah, right. Okay then. Thank you.